The interesting thing about this is, just going back to what we said about what Dan Ariely had done earlier, where he had come up with the idea that he knew that people were not motivated by money, and it actually corrupts cognition and it prevents us from coming out with the right outcome. The interesting thing is he went to banks in Britain with this and he said, I think I have a solution to the problem that we've had over the last 7 or 8 years. And he said, what is it? Well, I can do some research with you and I think we can come up with an answer to why everything might went a little bit sideways. And I said, it might be based around money. And they said, listen, I think we're okay with all this. We're quite happy to go on and keep doing what we do. And they didn't want to take him on board for his research at all, because they knew the answer they were going to get was not what they expected, or not what their workers expect at that particular time. It's just very interesting. We are all quite different, aren't we? Yeah. Anybody else? Just how are people made to feel appreciated in your workplace? Is anybody?
I was going to say I was part of the annual review last year in the company, and the majority of the feedback from staff was like, well, it's great, thanks very much for the salary increase, which was a huge effort for a small company. But it was like, it was quite surprising to see, well, really, I don't really care. What they were saying is exactly as you were saying. They want feedback on their performance and they want to know, how well they're doing. But they were getting an increase, which meant those who were getting the increase were, the good performers, but they hadn't been told throughout the year how well they were doing. So it was like, it was nearly a surprise for them to get the increase, but it was, you know what I mean? It was like the financial reward was there. They were saying it's more important that you, or not myself, but that their manager would tell them, how great they are and when. And
so it's like hitting a golf ball off a fairway and someone coming back to you 6 months later and going, actually the shot wasn't too bad. I never knew, no one told me, And that's it, and continuous feedback is really, really important, works really, really well within organizations. Just to move on, because I do know we are a little bit tight on time. So unexpected things make us happy. They did experiments where they actually put bits of water and juice into people's mouths and discovered that parts of the brain that lit up actually lit up when this happened. Unexpected things are things that we really enjoy happening. When I go back to the lollipop effect, that's the now that rewards. The norms of expected summer and Christmas parties and expected bonuses and all that kind of stuff. If you break things up so they don't become that we expect this every Christmas, or we expect this to happen every summer, or when I do this, whatever, it changes the way people react and the way things work. The if then doesn't work, it causes all sorts of problems. So now that rewards are far more beneficial. Positive feedback increases in performance. How do we know that? Because they did experiments where they got groups of people to do mock interviews and speeches in front of people, and the guys that they were doing the interviews or the speeches in front of purposely changed their body language. So some gave really life-affirming, gave really positive, affirming body language, encouraging and that kind of stuff, just like I talked about a short while ago when we were talking about, I can't remember anyway, but it was a bit. So when they did this experiment, they were given some positive feedback, eye contact, all the different things that we see as positive. And then the other group were given no, arms were closed, they were looking away, and it was sort of real quite negative feedback. And then they got them to do numerical tests afterward, and they discovered those who got the positive feedback performed far greater in the numerical test afterwards. They did, just because of the state that they were in, that had happened in that. So yeah, positive feedback increases importance. So that's why it's just, when you think about it, if you give feedback, we have to aim somehow to be realistic, but we also have to aim to be able to make it as positive as you possibly can, and give that regularly and often, and it works really well within organizations. 3 signs something is motivating you at work. Look forward to doing it, you feel energized while doing it, and when you talk about it later, you light up. This is the way we should all feel at work. It's not always going to be the case every single day, but there should be that embedded into our lives. And somehow we could think about this. This could be done by sculpting goals. And I was only talking to Dom about this last night. About this is really interesting. When I think about what can I transfer, what can I alter, what can I add, this lady had, I was reading an interview, and she was employing some millennials, okay, some actually could be even younger millennials. They were just coming into the workforce. And what actually happened was, when she came to the workforce, she gave them a task. She gave them 18 roles. This guy was going to give 18 roles to be finished by the end, tasks to finish by the end of the day, okay? She said, I'll touch base with you halfway through the day to see how you're getting on with those, okay? And she came back to him at about 11 o'clock in the day, and she sat him down and said, how are you getting on? He says, well, those 18 roles you gave me, I've done 13 of them. And she goes, wow, you've done 13 of them? He said, yeah, I've done 13 of them. And he had done the 13 of them really well. And then he turned around to her and said, but I'm going to tell you this. See these other 3 tasks that I haven't done here? I won't be doing them. I'm not really good at talking to people on the phone, customer service, and I don't really do conflict very well, so I won't be doing that. and this other task that I'm not very good at being able to, whatever, you know. She thought about this, and a light bulb, something went off in her head, like anybody would go, like, well, this guy is obviously the wrong fit for our organisation if he's going to speak to me like that and be upfront. And then she thought of it when she went away, and she said, this actually could be really good for us. There's a guy who can speak his mind. He's done those 13 tasks in a record time and very efficiently, so he's very efficient and effective at what he does. And he's honest enough to say that my strengths don't lie here, and maybe someone else's strengths might lie there, and better off channeling that out to somebody else and leave me with what I'm good at. Can you see the way that makes sense? Yeah, it's incredible. And that's where we're getting a lot from the millennials coming into the workforce. They know what they want, and they know what they're good at, and know how to tell it. This can be done by sculpting roles. What can I transfer, what can I alter, what can I add? Okay, and just finish up here, so we can get a chance to have another break and do some more stuff. What have we learned today? Let people play to their strengths. I don't even need to say that, but I think it's the most important thing in life. In life, when we go to school, we spend our time doing grinds because of certain subjects we never really wanted to do in the first place. You know, work shouldn't feel like that either. Turn work into play where possible. We've seen how it's effective and how that works. Yes.
Because, like, just to come back to you earlier, I'm interested in this idea of, what you ever do is what you're strong at. How do you know what you can do?
How do you know what your potential is?
Well, I mean, if you're never put in the deep end, you only ever stay.
Well, you quickly find out what you are, but it's not about spending time pushing somebody outside their comfort zone, outside of not just their comfort zone, but even their growth zone, into their panic zone. Panic zone is a horrible place to be. Although we will learn some things from it, it's not a good place to be a lot of the time. And if you spent your whole life touching on that panic zone every time you enter the workforce because you're being challenged beyond things that are beyond your capability, well, stress, as we talked about earlier, would overtake your existence, and then your experience of life wouldn't be as long as expected because of that. But yeah, challenging yourself is a good thing, and being challenged in work is actually a good thing. It is. All the time trying to fix weaknesses that we're not good at, that's not a good thing, it's not. And sometimes even coming on days like this today, if you do corporate days where you have some of the people who might be introverts and they end up in a day like this and they have to go through the whole choir process and have to go all that kind of stuff, that for them might be absolute hell for them. So we just need to recognise that within organisations. But again, he must be the most integral part of the organisation because what he does, whether it's, I'm not going to say coding or whatever it might be, works well for him. So it's about finding people's strengths and weakness. But finding them is good, rather than spending a whole life trying to fix something that we just have no interest in. Showing appreciation for work, we talked about. Giving financial rewards, cognitive tasks doesn't work. Actually, it gives the opposite. That corrupts it and causes problems. We really need to think of that as employers. You're corrupting the chance of you getting the right solution if you offer a financial reward. Financial rewards are good if you're doing a task that is algorithmic, which is a task like in a production line in a factory. Helping others through pro-social behaviour motivates us. Helping others through what you do is very good. I think Networks do a bit of that down in Carlow as well. They're very interested in the community and what goes on down there and helping others. Positive feedback abilities can increase performance. We just talked about that. Ignoring people's performances is as bad as shredding effort in front of them. So it's about just those simple, acknowledgements for what people have done. It's very simple and it's very human. We do it in relationships, we should do it in the workplace. And knowing that our work helps others increases unconscious motivation. There we go. And prog fans are easily pleased, and that's me. I want to say thank you very much, guys. Thanks for coming today, and thank you. Yes?
Sorry, a question really important. It's been bugging me for years, right?
Yes?
How do Jacobs get the fig into the fig roast?
If I told you that, somebody would turn up to my house at night, and actually, it's a really good question to ask, because I know what the answer is, and I love when I sit down with people and say, how do you think it went? And the amazing ways that people think that the figs actually went in there. There was all sort of this, and then they added that, and they did that. Yeah, it's not that at all. Anyway, Henry.
Thank you very much, Steve.
Cheers.